Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we are going to be looking at the Halo Universe Blind Bags Series 1. I did an opening video for these pretty recently, so you can go watch that if you want to see these guys coming out of their little plastic prisons. But today we are going to be looking at each figure very closely, and this is an interesting series for a couple reasons, and I've already talked about this a little bit, but first of all, we have all different eras of Halo in here. We've got Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo Wars 2, what is this guy? Grunt Ultra, don't know exactly where he's from, and then we've got Halo Infinite. And this opens up so many possibilities for future Blind Bag series. So, without any further ado, let's jump right in and start with that Grunt. So this Grunt isn't really much to write home about. It is just a Grunt, albeit in this white color, which is very nice. I do like this white a lot. I think if Mega really wanted to give us the full Grunt Ultra look, they should have given us a new mask. But as it is, this guy is great. And I don't know how many times I've said this, but I can never say it enough. You can never have too many Grunts. So this is a great addition. I love just being able to have easy access to Grunts, and easy access to Grunts whose heads aren't stuck. I had barely any troubles at all with these guys. Just pop their head on and go. I do like their skin tone, actually, a lot. This is not one we get often. I don't actually know if we've ever gotten it in this kind of like dark stone gray. I really like that. I still don't know how to feel about these rubbery arms. I'm not a huge fan of them, but it's not, like, bad, I guess. And just for the sake of comparison, I have a Grunt here. I think this is one of the Clash on the Ring Grunts, who has the same exact armor and mask, just he is orange and he has a tan skin, as opposed to the white and dark stone gray. So, overall, a very good figure. I think that Mega needs to continue giving us Grunts, because everyone needs Grunts. Speaking of Grunts, here is the Grunt for the UNSC side. This is a Halo 2 Anniversary Marine. Whoa, stand up. He comes armed with a big rocket launcher. No paint, but it is a rocket launcher, so that's good to get. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I guess it doesn't really need to be mentioned, but good grief, bro, stand up. The Grunt did have a needler, just in plain purple. So this Marine here is a little bit... He's a bit of a mixed bag, because on one hand, he is a Marine, and it's always nice to get Marines. Marines in Blind Bag series especially are great. He has a printed chest piece, which is really nice. And the color of green he's got is pretty cool. But his actual look is a little bit odd. It's this weird mix of the normal Halo 2 Marine and the Anniversary one. And I just don't think that this lower leg was the right choice. So he's got ODST upper leg armor, which is fine. I think that works. But these legs are the Infinite Chief legs, or the Legends Chief legs. I just don't think they work. I think the Mark IV Spartan legs would have worked better. The same as what they use on the Halo Wars Flame Marines. I think these ones are just too squared off. It doesn't really work. So that's kind of odd. And then we've got a new helmet, which it looks pretty good. It's molded pretty well. But my major problem with it is how thin the visor is. So like when you look at it from here, you can see straight up to the top of his head. And that's odd. That's just very odd to me. I think they should have just left it like flat like a brim and not made it hollow like that. It is removable, so I guess if you really wanted to, you could make that kind of bill thicker yourself. This guy's head is interesting. It's kind of a fairly generic head, but it's got this little gray kind of goatee, which looks pretty nice. And then the chest plate's done really well. So yeah, this guy is an odd mixed bag. I want to like them. Definitely not my favorite of the Marines, but he's not bad. he's pretty cool. Also, I think it was this guy. One of his hands was that bobbly in the socket issue. If you watch my opening video, you will have seen how that was. But I was able to fix actually all of the figures that had issues in this set, so that's good. And before we move on, I just wanted to bring in one of the Infinite Marines just to show that you can do this pretty easily. I don't think it's really any different. And then you can also do that. So yeah, it does indeed fit. It's pretty much the same type of head. And honestly, that actually kind of looks cool, even though it doesn't quite match. It's kind of cool. But yeah, overall, bit of a mixed bag. Not the greatest Marine ever, but he's still got some very useful pieces and looks pretty decent. I do have one of the original Halo 2 Marines, thanks to the domain. So I'm going to be doing a comparison video of the new Halo 2 Marine versus an old one at some point, so stay tuned for that. Before we move on, I actually just had an idea. Let's go ahead. His rocket launcher is off. Get that off, and that. That's interesting. That is the 20th anniversary Johnson head. That's all right. I guess that's passable if you want a Halo 2A Johnson. But his head looks a little small on that body for some reason. I don't know why. Sticking with the Halo 2 theme, at least, yeah, I think this is Halo 2, right? Halo 2 and 3? Or just Halo 2? I know we saw these guys in Halo 2, I just don't know if we saw them in 2 and 3. From what I've seen through the community, this guy is gearing up to be the #1 favorite out of this blind bag series. And honestly, I can see why. I wasn't a huge fan of him at first, just because I'm the kind of person that likes the heroes, likes the hero figures, and I enjoy having a handful of the enemies to, do battle scenes, but usually the bad guys aren't my favorite figures. But this guy is really well done. He's essentially a Halo Chewbacca with a little metal cap. And he's got all this, fur texture on his arms, his torso, his head. Oddly, his thighs are smooth, which is a little weird. But it's not bad. He's got this piece. I think this came on Tartarus first. Tartarus. Well, I don't know why I said it like that. Tartarus. It came on Tartarus first. Then we've got this, I think this is a brand new collar piece, like the armored collar. And then his head has the little metal cap, like I mentioned. It's got some silver down the sides. The eyes are just pinholes, but this head is really well done. Might be the best brute head we've gotten yet. Nice shoulder armors. This blue is kind of a metallic-y, not blue, sorry. This silver is a metallic-y blue. And then he's got printed toes. And this is the repaired and updated version of this piece, which means you can stick it to studs. He comes armed with a red plasma rifle, which is a little weird to me. I think that's kind of an ugly color for a plasma rifle. I think the dark red would have been nicer. This is it almost looks like it wants to be a banished plasma rifle, and this guy is definitely not a banished brute. So that's a little weird, but that's pretty much the only downside of this figure. The rest of him is absolutely fantastic, and this is definitely a guy you're going to want to get more than one of. I only got 2, but if I find some more, I may end up grabbing some more, because he is very nice. He's contender for the #1 figure in this whole blind bag series so far, just because of how high quality he is. He almost looks like he could be a Heroes figure. Speaking of the Banished, here is our Banished Elite, and he is pretty much the same, like all of his parts are exactly the same as what we saw in the Battle for the Ark blind bags, except instead of orange this time, he is yellow, and he has the new hands, which is super, super nice. The yellow is not bad. I think it's a little bright, but actually it's showing up on my camera as really bright yellow, but it's actually a little bit more of a buttery yellow. Maybe I can... Here we go. See, this is a straight yellow. This is the more buttery yellow. It's kind of not showing up super well on the camera, but you can see this one's a little paler. The only complaint I have, the only complaint I have with the design of the figure is the fact that they did not print these mandibles here. I think if they had printed it the same kind of matte gray, white that is on the rest of the figure, that would have been great. But as it is, just putting him next to the original Banished Elite from the blind bag series, it makes him look a little lackluster. But I'll actually grab him and bring him in a second. But I wanted to talk about the issues that I had with this guy. So, oh yeah, he's got a carbine as a weapon. His hand had that bobbling issue, which I think I've fixed for the most part. But then something was wrong with the torso, and the head really wouldn't go on. So I tried sanding it and tried swapping the heads, whatever. And eventually I just had to give him a whole new torso because I don't know what was wrong with the first one. Something was wrong with the neck joint. And also in my unboxing of this whole set, you may have seen this helmet stick really hard in, and I was like, it's never coming out. I was wrong. It came right out. Super easy. So, really cool looking figure. But again, the lack of printing on the mandibles is a little bit of a letdown. I suppose you could say that it's asking a bit much to have the chest piece and the mandibles printed. But look at this. This is the Battle for the Ark Blind Bag Elite. He's got his chest printed just like this guy and the mandibles. So that's a little bit weird why they chose not to. It feels like cutting corners to me. But I guess it is what it is. It's not a deal breaker. It's just a little bit annoying because when you have these guys next to each other, whoa, hit my camera. When you have them next to each other, they're not completely matching. But still, that looks pretty good. Having the yellow dude in the lead and the orange guys kind of as the minions. I think that works out pretty well. So overall, pretty good figure. Maybe just Sharpie on some silver for the mandibles yourself. Next up is what might be my favorite figure from this whole series, the CE Spartan. He's in this really nice blue color. Really nice. Looks great all around. Okay, well, let me get my big complaint out of the way first. On the packaging, it shows that his little pouches here are printed in the same gray-black as the brim here and the back of the head. Do you see any printing? Because I don't. And that really feels like some false advertising to me. Like, why would you show that something is printed on the packaging when it's not really? I don't know, maybe that was just a mistake. Maybe they were planning on having it printed and then they scrapped that at some point and then just didn't update the packaging or what. But it just feels a little cheap to show something on the package that you don't actually get. The head is printed fantastic. That visor is so nice. The kind of low contrast between the blue and that silver gray of the visor is great. We got print here and we have print on the back of the head. It all looks very nice. He comes armed with a magnum, of course. I did have issues with this guy's hand bobbling. And again, that was one I fixed for the most part. His hand is a little stiff when turning it, but it's really not bad. I have noticed though, this forearm sometimes makes it look like the hand is tilted backwards. I don't know what's up with that. And then, yeah. The CE legs always are kind of limited in how much you can make them bend, but they look really nice. So I know I had a huge amount of the Clash on the Ring figures, but I only have one other CE Spartan who has not been modified. I have the other two, the orange guy and I don't have the orange guy at all. I have another green guy and I have the silver guy, but they're both kind of in the process of being painted, so I can't have them for comparison. I would like to try and get all of the CE Spartans, so It would be green. Well, I've got the green. I've got the blue. So I need to get silver, orange, and red and do a video with all of them in it. So if I can find the red guy, I will do that video. Who knows when that'll be. But yeah, there they are side by side. This guy definitely has more print on the head. You can see this guy's head has no print at all. I do, as much as I would have liked to see the pouches printed, I do kind of like that they aren't, just because it matches the other Spartans a little more. If this guy had the pouches printed as well, he would have looked more like a Heroes figure, and these guys would have stayed looking like blind bag figures. So I don't mind the fact that he's not got the print. I just really wish Mega didn't show it on the box and on the package. And last but not least, we have the Spartan Zvezda. Every time I say that name, it just makes me think of like a little fly buzzing around. Zvezda. Anyway, this figure is a bit of an anomaly to me, anyway, for a couple reasons. First of all, Mega has it labeled Spartan Aster. This is not a Spartan Aster. This is a Zvezda with whatever attachment this is. So that's a little weird. It is also a little weird to me that Mega decided to make the Zvezda with an attachment before they made the normal Zvezda. So that's very weird. And I don't understand why he's translucent purple. Like, what kind of armor effect is this supposed to be? Don't get me wrong, it looks cool. Like, this is a really cool color to have a translucent figure. And he's not a straight gummy because he has a undersuit. He's like the Power Pack figures. But yeah, what is the purple? I don't remember seeing a purple armor effect in Infinite. The head is a little confusing to look at because we've got what looks like eyes down low. I think this will look better when it's a normal Zvezda, like a normal printed up one, so it actually looks like the attachment has some color to it. It looks like an attachment. So I'm looking forward to getting this helmet again in an actual set, which I'm sure we'll see it soon because, I mean, the mold is here. Security shoulders, this big beefy chest plate, the George legs. So just by itself, the figure is a little bit odd, but it comes with a commando. And look at this. This is a beautiful piece right here. So for the first time, I think in pretty much the history of Mega, they've made a gun with an actual like shaped handle. It's sloped a little bit just to make sure that the gun has more of a proper silhouette, I guess. And the detail that's molded on there is fantastic. I think you can put a muzzle flare on there. We've got the little scopes. It's just great. This is absolutely great. I cannot wait to see this in a Halo Heroes figure and see what kind of print they can do. The slope handle can be a little annoying sometimes if you want to raise the gun up, because you can kind of do that, but it can start to make the figure lose grip. But that's really such a minor issue. This is just an absolutely fantastic weapon, and I definitely want to see Mega putting it in as many sets as possible because it's just so well done. Well, there you have it. That is Halo Universe Blind Bag Series 1. I would say this is a pretty much 100% successful kind of launch for the Halo Universe line. We have a really diverse range of figures here. It is, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like one or two figures smaller than your average blind bag series, which I don't know if that's going to be the standard for Halo Universe blind bags, if it's going to be the standard from here on out, or if it was just some oddity for this series. I don't really know, but it's not bad. I think it's kind of nice because it makes it easier to get a hold of the whole set quicker. So that's not, I don't think that's a problem. And like I said, the range of figures is really nice. The Brute in particular is fantastic. The CE Spartan is fantastic. The Marine could have been better, I think, mainly with the helmet. Swapping the legs would have been nice, but mainly the helmet could have used a little work. The Elite is great. It's good to get more of these banished Elites. He just needed some printed mandibles. The Grunt, while he doesn't look like a full Ultra necessarily, it is always good to get grunts. And the Zvezda is super interesting and has a commando, which is fantastic. I am so happy with the way Mega did this gun. You know, at first, I actually really hated this gun. I thought it looked like a Call of Duty weapon when it first was shown in the Halo Infinite demo. But it's really grown on me. It definitely feels like a Halo thing, and I'm just really happy to see it in Mega Construx form. Another interesting thing I forgot to point out, the figures come with different stands, so we got all the good guys on green and all the bad guys on tan. I'm pretty sure that's how it is consistently, unless I mixed up the stands without realizing it, and some of the good guys are supposed to have tan. But yeah, you get 2 different colors of stands in the whole series. So yeah, overall, I would say this is not the best blind bag series ever, but it's really solid. I can't really find like some really big complaints. It's just all my complaints are fairly minor. Obviously, quality control, when there's issues with quality control, that's a big complaint, but that's not really necessarily about this series in particular, because we've always had quality control issues in blind bags. Just my issues with this series in particular is just minor things like the elite mandibles, the way that the Marine was done, and why they chose to make a Zvezda with an attachment before normal Zvezda. But overall, honestly, I think this would probably be a solid 8 out of 10, at least for me. I think the real stars of the show here are these two. And then this guy comes in pretty close because of the commando. He's pretty good. And then these two are in the back, not because they're bad, just because they're pretty simple army builders. So these are starting to hit the stores now. Hopefully the distribution will be good, because like this is supposed to be the launch of the Halo Universe line, and that's kind of a way to let people collect Halo stuff they might have missed. So I really hope these are accessible to a lot of people. So let me know your thoughts on these down in the comments below, and let me know what would you want to see in a Halo Universe blind bag series. For me, honestly, I would love to see some more ODSTs in blind bags. I think if we can get some blind bags with ODSTs, or even an entire like Halo 3 ODST themed set, that would be great. I know they're probably not going to do full theme sets anymore, so maybe we'll just get like one ODST in a set. So I would really like to see that. But yeah, what are you guys hoping will come in the Halo Universe blind bags, or just in the Halo Universe line in general? Because the possibilities are pretty much endless. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.